We continue with the series on factors to consider before borrowing. Welcome to a word from the coach. If this is your first time here, please take a moment and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like this video, share it with someone else, drop us a comment. If you have a question you would want me to address, feel free to drop it in the comment section or inbox me in my various inboxes, and I'll be glad to do another word from the coach video in response to the same. I do so that I do not just respond to you, but I also respond to other people who may be having similar concerns. Today, we look at another important factor to consider before you borrow money, and that is the term of the loan, the term of the credit facility, the term of the debt. What do I mean by the term of the loan? I mean the repayment duration. Every lender, as they give you money, part of their terms and conditions will be that their loan or the money they are giving to you must be repaid within a certain period of time in a certain way. So it is important for you to consider the duration of repayment. When a lender says the money must be repaid within 1 year, within 2 years, 3 years, what does that mean for you? How does that affect you? It's important for you to come to terms with that. This is how it can affect you. When a loan is repaid in a shorter period of time, it comes with a set of implications. And this particular factor to consider is a very critical one, because borrowers must be able to strike a balance so that they can be able to benefit maximally from the debt that they will take. When you repay a loan in a shorter period of time, a few things happen. One of them is that when the duration is short, the interest you get to pay is relatively small compared to when you have a longer span of time within which to repay the loan. That means if you are repaying in a longer period of time, therefore you stand chance to pay a higher interest than when you are repaying in a shorter period of time. But listen to the second effect. The second effect is when you repay a loan in a short period of time, it also reduces the amount of money that you qualify for. That means if you have a repayment ability of 10,000 shillings per month, you might be able to qualify for a maximum loan of maybe 70,000 per year. But if you are to stretch the period, you could qualify for 120,000 in 2 years, 300,000 in 3 years, 500,000 in 6 years, for example. Okay? So then you now look at the amount you want. You look at the repayment ability, and that's why these factors are always intertwined, and we don't look at them in isolation if we are looking at it from a lender's perspective. We want to analyze you holistically. So now from your end, it is important for you to understand how they are related in the way I'm explaining them, so that you make a sober borrowing decision. You want to ask yourself, the need for which I want to borrow, how much money do I need? Okay, then you look at what the lender is offering in terms of term. If the lender is saying the loan must be cleared in 1 year, now that means you might save on interest, but it means you may fail to qualify for the amount you're looking for if it's a big amount. Maybe for you to qualify for that amount, you must repay beyond 1 year, and the lender you have now is asking for 1 year. So you might need to look for another lender. Now, term also affects you in the following third way. When you repay a loan in a shorter period of time, your repayment amount is bigger compared to when you repay the same loan amount over a long period of time. So if I'm borrowing 100,000 shillings, if I have to repay it in 1 year, I might be paying, say, 10,000 shillings per month. But the same amount, if I'm to repay it in 2 years, I might be paying, say, 6,000 shillings per month. You get? So you have now to balance between what is your repayment ability? How much money did you need? What is the term that the lender is giving? Okay? And it's not always a must that you take the maximum term the lender is giving. You also are thinking about the cost of credit, the interest that you will pay eventually. So if you can be able to afford a certain loan, a certain amount of money to be repaid in 2 years, and you are comfortable with the repayment amount per month for you to clear in 2 years, there is no reason why, because the lender is saying the maximum term is 6 years, for you to stretch that amount to 6 years, because now you risk paying a lot of interest in the longer period of time. So where is the balance? The balance is in you picking a term where you get to repay using the maximum repayment amount that you are comfortable with in the shortest period of time, okay? So that then you also minimize the interest that you get to repay, and therefore you only pay the maximum unavoidable interest. The best term for any borrower will be a term whose monthly repayment amount or periodic repayment amount is the maximum you can be able to pay comfortably. The best term for you is a term that is the shortest, that allows you to get the amount that you needed. Okay? And therefore, number 3, the best term is the term that also allows you to pay the maximum unavoidable interest. Maximum unavoidable interest. So that then you're not stretching into a term that now makes you pay interest that is like elective interest. You're choosing to pay it. No, we are saying you only get to pay the maximum interest you can't avoid. That for the amount that I'm looking for the repayment amount that I'm comfortable for, this is the term that will allow me to pay what I can't avoid. But when you stretch that term, then you start going into the zone where you are now paying what you could avoid by picking a shorter term. So it's important for us to be able to understand the role that the term of credit plays in our borrowing decisions. Good people, I hope you have heard something that will improve your borrowing story and your borrowing journey and experience, so that you don't just borrow money blindly. Debt is not free money. Debt comes at a cost, and therefore we must approach borrowing with our eyes wide open. If you have liked or learned something from this, then feel free to like this video. Please share it with someone else. If you have another question you'd want me to address, please drop it in the comment section or inbox me in my various inboxes, and I'll be glad as usual to do another word from the coach video in response to the same. You can do better. See you in the next.